Parkhead tonight, Celtic 0, Rangers 0 at half-time. Celtic with so much possession, can't find a way through yet. Coming up at the weekend, 6 o'clock on Saturday, extended highlights of the FA Cup third-round tie between Manchester United and Sunderland. And we're live at the baseball ground on Sunday at 12. Derby County against Leeds United. And Monday night at 7, back to Scotland for Hibs, who are third right now, against Aberdeen, Coca-Cola Cup winners in Scotland a few weeks back. Charlie Nicholas and Mark Haley are with us tonight. I was saying, Charlie, you and I watched that Coca-Cola Cup tie here, when again Celtic had so much possession and couldn't find a way through. Ali McCoist, who's on the bench, but he's 5-1 incidentally for the opening goal, settled it that night. Is it again a stage that he could come on and pinch a winner from?
Well, it would be so typical of Ali to come on and do that type of thing. He's done it to Celtic so much in the past. But it's a very similar match. Celtic, loads of possession. To be fair, have made better chances tonight than they did that evening. But Rangers still look dangerous to me.
On the break particularly, yeah?
Particularly when Laudrup has the ball, yes.
Well, when you look at that possession, Mark, your Rangers, you've got to half-time 0-0 without too many serious scares. You're not that unhappy, are you?
No, I think you keep playing away from home, whatever game it is, you go in at 0-0, you're happy. You go down, you have a sit down and, you know, talk about a few things and, you know, hopefully be sorting that little problem out at the right back position.
Well, a draw at the end of the day is a great result for them as well, isn't it?
Well, it is. I mean, Celtic ideally need to win the game tonight. And it's as simple as that.
So how do they convert the possession into goals, Charlie?
Well, again, I think down the left-hand side have been prominent, but I would like to see Tom in particular getting in behind the Rangers back three. If we can get in behind them, then I think they can cause them problems. But if they just play in front of them, Rangers will soak that up and hit them on the break.
Fabulous atmosphere in here, really is. A New Year's Old Firm derby between Celtic and Rangers, live on Sky Sports tonight. Goalless at half-time. Let's rejoin Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Thank you very much, Richard. 0-0. Both sides level in that they've lost only one league game all season long. Celtic's one defeat here to Rangers, of course, back in September. The champions had their colours lowered for the only time in the league a week earlier, beaten at home by Hibs. Well, they certainly got their revenge for that last Saturday. But we've seen very little of that attacking panache from Walter Smith's side to this point. Celtic start the second half.
Well, no changes in personnel, but I feel sure that in the Rangers dressing room there was an awful lot of talk of the right-hand side, the side that Josh McKinley enjoyed a lot of success first half. They must have talked about doing something to solve the problems.
Back pass. Andy Gordan, who's certainly been back to his very best this season. He's had a lot of injury problems over the last couple of years, of course. Here's David Robertson. Well, Malky Mackay certainly hasn't looked out of place in this company. Donnelly doing well. There's no one really helping him to the left. Coming from a deeper position was the willing O'Donnell. McNamara outside him. O'Donnell goes for glory himself. Touched onto the post.
I want to save again from Andy Gordan. Well, that was just typical Phil O'Donnell.
O'Donnell again. It's as close as Celtic have come.
What a run, though, he puts in here, O'Donnell. Drives that Rangers set of defenders. And Andy Gordan, make no mistake, he gets fingertips to that. If he doesn't, then Rangers are one down. It's a magnificent save from the Rangers goalkeeper to deny Phil O'Donnell the opening goal.
Trying to restrict Collins, and Collins is taking him infield from time to time. Laudrup. Robertson. Boyd showing his athleticism again, but he didn't deal with the ball. Now comes Marshall.
That was a decent run. Laudrup and Robertson for one of the few times in the match, combining well down the left side.
McNamara. Van Hooijdonk. Gascoigne trying to get free. DURIE. Robertson pointing where he wanted Salenko to move to. Salenko's header is a shrewd one. Miller. And Mackay stood his ground again. Well, here are Rangers 8 points clear at the top of the table. And I saw a survey amongst their players that was published the holiday period. Who was the best player up to this point so far? And Andy Gorham got the vote. So in those circumstances you can see what a contribution he's made so often in games, not like this one, but games where Rangers have the ball for long periods and maybe has to make one save at a crucial time in a match, and he invariably comes up with it. Miller's pass.
He's made two now, Martin, in a very important game for Rangers. He's not the tallest of goalkeepers either, but he did manage to get that frame of his stretched to its maximum. So he got the barest fingertip touch on it.
Dare I say that he learnt his trade in England? Here's Tom. Maybe more work for Andy Gorham. Donnelly. Van Hooijdonk. Tom. It's an unfair turn by O'Donnell at the expense of Goff, and he's penalised for it. But Phil O'Donnell, who loves to drive on from midfield in the manner in which his shot was turned onto the post by the excellent Gorham. Collins.
Once again, sorry Matt, once again I have to say it's Celtic calling the tune at the beginning of the second half. They've been sound at the back, they've been inventive in midfield, and they've looked threatening up front.
But they haven't scored.
And you and I have now covered maybe half a dozen, 8 of these Old Firm derby matches, and an awful lot of them have followed these lines when Celtic, in my opinion, have been the better side for huge spells in the game, but haven't managed to get a goal when they've been playing well.
Donnelly. Donnelly again. McLaren wasn't the most authoritative clearance. Donnelly alive to the prospects at the throw from Collins. Gascoigne in the way. McStay taking over. That's good play by Ferguson, but Rangers have lost it again. Collins. Nothing wrong with that, says Les Mottram. But there is with that. Free kick to Laudrup and Rangers. Robertson has tried to show adventure down the left. It's certainly a strong suit for him, and the system is tailored for him to push on. But where's the man on the right? Not there for Laudrup. Here's Robertson well forward. SALENKO. Rangers back pedal. Collins into Donnelly. Tom to the left, Van Hooijdonk through the middle. Donnelly claims a free kick and gets one.
A little generous. I thought he was running out of steam, Simon Donnelly there. He was running out of ideas. He was looking to play Pierre Van Hooijdonk in here. I'd look to see Charlie Miller do too much wrong there, except put him under a bit of pressure, but the free kick's been given. And I don't imagine you pull your centre forward out of the firing line to a free kick 30 yards from goal if he ain't going to hit it. But you never know, it might be a decoy.
It's not, it's Van Hooijdonk. And with Gordan in this sort of form, he needs to do just a bit more than that. It wasn't a bad try.
Well, it's hit with plenty of power and it's hit with plenty of pace. But it's from so far out that Andy Gordan gets a good long look at it. Look at that, good long look at it. And it's quite a comfortable save. You know, 10 yards nearer, it might well have been a different matter.
PETRIC. Crowd trying to influence the linesman. But the flag stayed down. Miller letting it run, but SALENKO wasn't quite behind him. And Hooijdonk was waiting, McLaren wasn't. Gascoigne. SALENKO. Still SALENKO. Marshall shows his calibre in the Celtic goal.
But Gascoigne's in the right boat, SALENKO. I think he feels he's provided him with the best chance Rangers have created today. I thought when he tucked inside here he was going to hit it, but he elected to come back on his left. And I tell you, we've talked about Andy Gordan making important saves. That's a hell of a big save from Gordon Marshall. Stood big, didn't commit himself, didn't go to ground early, and was able to make himself a big target. And SALENKO found him.
Gordon Marshall, a long time ago, failed to make the grade with Rangers. Crowd not happy with the decision against O'Donnell. But there's that warning to Celtic, and they've seen it happen to them so often, that going down to the sucker punch late on when they've dominated matches, most notably in recent times in that League Cup fourth round match back in September. And a certain Alistair McCoist was responsible for their gloom. Haven't seen him yet tonight, but he's available on the bench. PETRIC. Gascoigne made it his. Ferguson. Away thoughtfully by Mackay. To Tom. Celtic trying to catch up with him in the shape of O'Donnell. And McKinley down the left. Tom can leave it to the left back. Now it is Andreas Tob. Oh, Van Hooijdonk!
Got any touch and he scores. It was a brilliant run from Van Hooijdonk and a great ball from Tom. It deserved better. It was a super break. Now watch it run. It's a beautifully dinked cross. Now any touch and he scores. I don't know whether he does. It looks like he misses it totally. He does. And look how close this is to dropping in at the far post. It's a foot away. And that's a real let-off for Rangers. And another chance goes begging for Celtic. Any touch and it's in at that back post.
Well, he's got a good record in the big games, Van Hooijdonk. He scored on his Celtic debut, scored in his first Celtic Cup tie, scored in his first Old Firm game, and of course he got the goal that won the Scottish Cup in May. They need a goal from him tonight, or from someone, to peg back Rangers. The status quo would suit Walter Smith if it finished level tonight, much more than Tommy Burns. McStay, Tom. Here's Collins. Donnelly's taken up an interesting position. They didn't want to shoot. Trying with that angle, it would have to be a pass of rare precision to get it into the area that O'Donnell was running towards.
Just talking, we see that Tommy Burns here saying wide, and he did have a run at Jackie McNamara. Provided him with the option wide on the right. That was certainly the ball.
Gordan Durie's been out of Scotland's plans for a while, but he's certainly attracting the attention of Craig Brown with his goal-scoring feats in recent weeks. McNamara with the throw. Goff, whose international days seem to be well and truly over, although he's still such a strong leader for his club. Gascoigne, cleverly wide to Robertson. Plenty of blue jerseys forward. Gascoigne loves to take them on in these circumstances, and the pass was a very perceptive one, but SALENKO, who was on the same wavelength, was offside.
I don't know how much he thinks about it, Oleg SALENKO, at times when he gets in these advanced areas. At times he just drifts offside needlessly. You know, he's looking at two Celtic players in front of him. No reason for him to be in advance of them.
Well, the goalkeepers have done their bit so far in this New Year's Old Firm derby. But Gordan might be threatened again by Tom. There was no return pass on. Donnelly hadn't quite seen the opportunity to really accelerate, and there were a lot of Rangers players around him, perhaps barring the way.
The majority of the game, Rangers have done that quite well. They've got plenty of blue jerseys back when they need them.
Well, the pass from Miller, and DURIE trying to use his well-documented pace. And Mackay was very capable in his defending again. It's O'Donnell. Well, he's the problem.
That's what Phil O'Donnell's all about, in my opinion. I saw this lad play at Motherwell many years ago.
There was a flick by Gascoigne, and a problem for Celtic in the shape of Brian Laudrup. And once more, the attentions of Tom Boyd enough to put him off at the critical moment.
And once again, that lack of fitness that Charlie Nicholas talked about at half-time, possibly showing there.
Game spread over the last few seconds. Van Hooijdonk leaving it to Tosh McKinley. Fine clearance by Goff, unflappable. DURIE. Chance to attack Celtic again. Stay covering a lot of ground to get to him. And O'Donnell. Here's Collins having a good look round to see what's on.
Well, it's really stretched now. You talked about it a moment ago. The game stretched over 60 yards of the pitch now.
Van Hooijdonk. Here's McKinley. Trying to get past PETRIC, who's quite a master of the hand-off.
Well, I thought it was passing for a moment here. But again, that left arm of Gordan. PETRIC comes out. I think the referee wasn't at the best angle to see that. But it looks like they've just decided they're both going to slug it out now.
Well, as we saw at this stage in the West London derby last night, the game's here for the winning. At this point, with an hour and a little bit more gone. Donnelly, Van Hooijdonk, trying to plough through Gascoigne. That takes a bit of doing. Flag goes up against SALENKO. The linesman on the far side is having quite a busy spell. Alan Granger. Collins as Celtic try to call the tune again with McKinley. Well, scooped behind by Robertson. little conversation in the middle between O'Donnell and Van Hooijdonk, maybe about positioning at this corner. Gascoigne. Laudrup. Well, it's territory that he loves to explore, particularly on the counter-attack, but Celtic just aren't letting him get away. They know if he does so, it could be at a heavy cost.
They've played the Rangers' two creative players very well tonight. Both Gascoigne and Laudrup I'm talking about. They haven't let them influence the game too much and for too long spells. Great ball. Great ball.
It's craftsman John Collins. McKinley. And it is a corner despite the efforts of Gordan to snake his arms round it in the nick of time.
Well, they've got to sleep a little.
There's Mackay making his way in. Tom and Collins at the corner. Rangers think they might have it covered. They did have it covered.
Well, that's a waste. You get a corner, you get your centre-backs going up, you've got a chance to put some pressure on when they give possession away.
Andy, you're just having a little look to see if there's any activity on the bench.
Well, I see one of the Rangers subs been called down. It will be Alec Cleland, Martin. I think it's been noticeable in the last couple of attacks that again Tosh McKinley's been able to get forward in advanced position and look to provide crosses, and that may be something they're looking at.
There
it is Alec Cleland, yeah.
Who scored here in the league game in September in that 2-0 win. He got the first. Gascoigne covered so much ground to round up a brilliant move for the second.
Well, you and I were talking at half-time about what you would do to curb this, and I was saying to you, well, if I was Walter Smith, I'd put Cleland on, but it surprised me maybe to you. I said I'd take Salenko off, put Laudrup up front with DURIE, and it gives him more balance then to cope with, well, what's at the moment without the goals has been quite a rampant Celtic. They've enjoyed lots of possession. McStay, Collins and O'Donnell have been a real threat in that midfield area.
They should be surprised if Ferguson was the one to go, even though it's his sort of position that they're trying to cover. He has the fire that Rangers need in these circumstances. But we shall see. Donnelly. Collins. Tom. Played a lot of international football, particularly in the years when there was an East Germany.
That's the area again, Mark. Look at Tosh McKinley. It's just a bit unfortunate. The ball from McStay had a little bit too much weight on it. But once again, Paul McStay spotted the run of McKinley, who was once again in.
Leap forward by PETRIC. The DURIE makes it his. But not for long, no one can be in possession for too long in a match of this intensity. Boyd. Collins as Celtic work it down the left again. McKinley a little later on the scene this time, didn't need to be there so early with Tom Boyd involved, but look at the progress that he's made. Oh, and that was Tom, and it stayed out. Andy Gorham couldn't deal with the cross. cross, but he was alert on his line, and this was a great angle that McKinley got to.
Well, watch this for a save. It's just instinctive. The left hand goes out, and he's still alert and alive and nimble enough to deal with the rebound. He couldn't come into the pack to deal with the cross, I don't think. But again, Rangers grateful for the ability of the goalkeeper.
And Andy Gray called the substitution perfectly. Cleland for SALENKO.
To be fair, this one had made at half-time, as I said to you.
So Cleland has gone in on the right-hand side, as you would expect. McNamara takes the free kick. Here's Collins. Capable of striking the ball from that type of position towards goal, but Rangers recognised that and got to him quickly. So Laudrup, who's been the floater really in the earlier formation, is now an out-and-out striker with DURIE. And Ian Ferguson, as we suspected, has been kept on and he can apply his particular brand of fire and brimstone in the centre of things, the thick of things.
But we should go 3 for 3 now in the centre midfield. Collins, McStay and O'Donnell against Miller, Ferguson and Gascoigne. Well, we said it once or twice in the season, possession doesn't win you football matches. We've enjoyed an awful lot of it, and they've played some lovely stuff at times, Celtic. But the most important stat of all is that one in the top left that says 0-0.
Well, Mackay was very close to DURIE, and Gordan DURIE made enough of the contact to catch the referee's eye. Free kick with 20 minutes to go to Rangers, to Gascoigne. Ferguson. PETRIC to dink it forward. Goff attacking it, trying to loop the header over the goalkeeper, who, to be fair, was pretty well positioned in the end.
If it was on target, Gordon Marshall would have dealt with it, but it was a clever idea from Richard Goff. He's no stranger to finding himself in those sort of areas.
Against McLaren. Goff was back where he was needed twice. McKinley. Collins with the flick. Celtic add to their tally of corners.
Now Rangers have needed their 3 central defenders. I think had they gone in with the 2, the Celtic would have found the space and exploited them. They've needed the 3 people across that 18-yard box, plus a performance from their goalkeeper to keep the scoreline level.
McKinley. Van Hooijdonk. Well, it was an intervention that the crowd were calling for as a penalty, but the defender knew nothing about it.
Well, we certainly couldn't see from here, whether it hits the arm, whether it hits the chest. Certainly they were claiming for it from the opposite side of the ground. They definitely had the best view over there.
McKinley. Gascoigne. Not wasting the possession. It was precious for Rangers. DURIE. Here's Miller. Ferguson can keep it going for Cleland. McNamara trapped across to break the block, and Gascoigne, who has it within his range of skills to get a shot on target in those sort of circumstances from that extravagant Distance missed extravagantly. And he's getting some very ironic homage being paid to him by those with the green and white draped all around him. But that might just appeal to his sense of humour.